the cutthroat world of the NHL, every prospect is a gamble. A roll of the dice where millions of dollars and a franchise future are on the line. But for the Edmonton Oilers, their latest gamble has a question no one wants to ask. What if he's a bust? Today we're going to break down the Matthew Savoie gamble. We'll look at the red flags that follow him, the skills that made the Oilers bet big, and what happens to this franchise if their biggest gamble fails. Every great hockey story has an origin, and for Matthew Savoie, it began with a ton of hype. As a junior player with the Winnipeg ICE, Savoie was a dominant force, leading all rookies in scoring with 90 points in his first full WHL season.
Honzik in this one here tonight. Here comes McDavid, lays it in front, and Savoie scores!
His on-ice performance made him a top pick in the NHL draft, and at the time, scouts loved his skating and elite puck skills, believing he had the offensive talent to be a future star. But despite the talent, his journey wasn't a smooth one. In his first two professional seasons, Savoie struggled to crack an NHL lineup and spent most of his time in the AHL. The questions about his undersized frame lingered, and injuries seemed to hold back his development. He played only 4 games in the NHL with the Buffalo Sabres, recording a single assist. And while he did put up solid numbers in the minors, 54 points in 66 games last year, he was traded by the Sabres, signaling the team was willing to move on from a player they had invested so much in. By the way, if you've ever watched a hockey prospect get written off too early, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments section down below if you think the Oilers made the right move to trade for Matthew Savoie. So what makes the Edmonton Oilers front office so confident that he can be the missing piece? Well, it all comes down to his scouting report. The truth is, Matthew Savoie has a number of skills that scream elite NHL player. Let's start with his bread and butter, his hands and creativity. Savoie is a brilliant puck handler, and he can make high-end offensive plays at volume, creating scoring chances where there seem to be none. He can control the puck at a high pace and is agile enough to use quick changes of direction and bursts of speed to get around defenders.
The power play yesterday against the Edmonton Oil Kings, but here's Lottie. Here's a chance. Savoie one-timer, he scores!
His confidence with the puck is off the charts, and he has a unique ability to act as a puppeteer in the offensive zone, using his eyes and body language to deceive defenders before making a brilliant pass to a teammate. But a player's strengths are only half the story. The major red flags surrounding Matthew Savoie have always been his size and his defensive play. At 5'9" and 179 pounds, he's undersized, and scouts have questioned whether he can handle the physical grind of the NHL. His lack of reach and ability to get lost in his own end are consistent concerns. The Oilers' coaching staff have been very public about their desire for him to become a two-way player, one who can contribute to both ends of the ice, even on the penalty kill. By the way, if you enjoy this type of in-depth analysis on hockey prospects, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, we get to the core of the Matthew Savoie gamble, the trade itself. For the Buffalo Sabres, the decision to move on from a top 10 pick was a move that puzzled the hockey world. After all, Savoie was still their number one prospect with sky-high ceiling and a ton of upside. So why trade him? For Buffalo, it was a decision to sacrifice a long-term asset for an immediate need. The Sabres have not qualified for the Stanley Cup playoffs since 2011, the longest drought in the NHL. They had a surplus of young, skilled forward prospects, and they needed a player who could make an immediate impact. The answer was Ryan McLeod, a reliable two-way center from the Oilers who was fresh off a breakout season. In a straight swap, Buffalo traded a potential future star for a player who could help them win now. For the Sabres front office, it was a calculated risk. For Matthew Savoie, it was a clear sign that the team that drafted him had lost faith and moved on. While the Sabres' side of the trade can be debated, the Oilers' motivation was crystal clear. They believe in his untapped potential. In acquiring Matthew Savoie, the Oilers saw a chance to add a high-end offensive talent who could immediately inject speed and skill into a roster that was starting to look its age. Management had been looking to add dynamic, cost-controlled young players to their forward group, and with their draft capital and cap situation, making a blockbuster trade for a player like Savoie was a move they felt they had to make. Even at rookie camp, the team's belief in him was clear. Head coach Chris Knoblauch said they were eager to see how Savoie fits into the lineup, and that it's up to him to take advantage of this golden opportunity. Savoie, a native of the Edmonton suburb of St. Albert, was happy to get a chance to play for his home team, and he feels a level of comfort and confidence he lacked in his previous camp with Buffalo. He believes he can be a, quote, very versatile player out there and has a history of adapting to new roles and elevating his game. But this is where the gamble intensifies. Expectations for Savoie are sky high, with some analysts predicting he'll get a run in the top 6 alongside McDavid or Draisaitl and even contend for the Calder Trophy. But as the hockey writers put it, expecting a young rookie to immediately become the point-producing winger they've been looking for would be naive and has a chance to go south for them in a hurry. Because while Savoie is a brilliant offensive talent, the biggest question mark is his size and his ability to play a two-way game. This is an area where he's shown improvement in the AHL, but playing against bigger, stronger, and faster NHL players in a cup-contending lineup is a different beast entirely. The Oilers can't afford any more missteps. And this leads us to the highest stakes of all, the McDavid factor. As we all know, Connor McDavid is in the final year of his contract. There's a narrative that if the Oilers underachieve, it may force McDavid to choose to play elsewhere. The Oilers have been the runner-up in the Stanley Cup final for the past 2 seasons, and there's a lot of pressure on them to finally win it all. If Matthew Savoie, the final piece they traded for, is a bust and can't help the team take the next step, he won't just be an underperforming prospect. He could be the one thing that pushes Connor McDavid to walk away from his hometown. The Matthew Savoie gamble isn't just about a single player's career. It's about a franchise's last chance to win a Stanley Cup with the best player in the world. In the end, the Matthew Savoie gamble isn't about what he's done, it's about what he represents. The Oilers didn't trade for a finished product. They traded for a player with a history of being underestimated and a skill set that could unlock a new level for their team. His journey is a powerful story. A top prospect who was traded by his original team and is now in a high-stakes, high-pressure situation on a team desperate to win a Stanley Cup. The question isn't about if he's an elite superstar. It's about if he can be a great, versatile role player who can handle the pressure and finally live up to his potential. The final verdict on Matthew Savoie is that he's the perfect low-risk, high-reward gamble for the Oilers. His cost was minimal, and his upside is immense. But what do you think? Are the Oilers right to bet on him? Or is this another misstep that could push Connor McDavid to choose to play elsewhere? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.